We are going to talk about Andreessen Horowitz, venture capital giant, announcing its third crypto venture fund. There had been a lot of speculation about how much they were going to be able to pull in. Initial report said 1 billion, subsequent report said 2 billion, citing sources. And now today, Thursday, they announced they brought in $2.2 billion from a bevy of investors to make bets on the next generation of crypto startups. I'm going to throw this to Will. This is a big one on the deal flow front. A16Z, obviously a major backer of Coinbase and countless others in the crypto space. 2.2 billion represents the ability to invest in a lot of startups going forward. What's your immediate take on the A16Z crypto fund?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this one. So just kind of zooming out, just seeing like the amount of cash that people place into A16Z's hands to make investments on behalf of them is just wild and startling. Like that is a lot of money. And I don't know exactly who invested in them to get that money into further investors' hands. And I don't know if it came from A16Z itself, like some part of it, but interesting to see that there's still an appetite for investing in crypto right now. And that number and that valuation just got a lot bigger over the time that people were reporting about it. Of course, people knew that A16Z was working through another round here. So yeah, a lot of dry powder, as they say, which is of itself interesting. I'm interested to see where this money flows into. There is a lot of key players out there, which I could see getting their hands on this. And then just kind of looking back at some of A16Z's like prior investments that really turned out well. Of course, the one that's like the biggest this year is Coinbase, where they really cleaned up on that investment. And I'm sure that didn't hurt when they were pitching this newest round to other people. So overall, like huge round, very bullish for the space going forward, even if we do kind of recede into a bear market for a little bit. But Zach, I want to hear your take. You were the author for this piece. What was it like talking with A16Z? Did they reach out for comment?
They notoriously like to go direct in terms of getting their news out into the world, so I did not speak with them on this instance. I've spoken with them before. It's really interesting to see the team that they're bringing on included in this announcement. There was some additional advisory hires that were announced. Probably the one that stood out to me was Bill Hinman, who's a former Securities and Exchange Commission official, famously sort of the guy who was like, yeah, Ethereum is Ether is a commodity, not a security. So he's sort of bringing that regulatory perspective to the work that A16Z is going to be doing. Just another some interesting hires, and they mentioned as crypto goes mainstream, there's been some misunderstandings, and we're sort of out to correct some of those misunderstandings. So they mentioned that they're bringing on some heavyweights to help do some of that work. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think obviously with this much capital, it's going to be interesting to see how A16Z retains its lead as a major investor in this space, right? They've got bets on a lot of companies in this space, and I think with 2.2 billion in dry powder, they're going to be able to retain that pole position when it comes to investing in crypto startups. I guess I'll throw this to Jen. Jen, I know when we see we've seen these rounds. We have not seen a round of this size. We saw 300 million from Blockchain Capital. We saw a number of other rounds sort of in the 3-digit millions, but this is a big one. What does this say to you when you see A16Z coming out with a big splashy number?
Well, that was a crazy number for me to see this morning when I was going through the stories. Like $2.2 billion it's insane to think about, because we talk about how maybe the crypto markets are slowing down. Maybe people are starting to get tired of things like NFTs, and there's still so much money being poured into crypto. So, I mean, what stuck out for me from this story was that they're bringing heavy hitters together from multiple different industries to get crypto in front of the mainstream audience. And it made me think about this question, and I'm sure I've asked you guys on this panel before, and Zach, I'll just throw it right back to you. What do you think the next big splash in crypto is? I mean, we saw NFTs kind of take over the first 6 months of this year. Where do you think this money is going to go? I know I'm always asking you for predictions, and I'm sorry for that.
Let's do it. I'm ready to roll out the crystal ball on this one. I think DAOs are starting to see a lot of interesting momentum. I don't know if A16Z would necessarily be involved in something like that, but I think there is some momentum around DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations, basically sort of like shared bank accounts on the internet where people can invest in projects that they deem important, worthy, or potentially having great upside. So DAOs, I think, maybe is something interesting. I think like A16Z with this money is probably going to be pushing forward this like crypto abstracted behind convenient front ends, right? So like I could imagine them making bets on projects that tap into various protocols, but to the mainstream user, they aren't necessarily a crypto product. Like we've seen that with like Eco and other things that have raised a lot of venture capital. So I don't know. I'm curious to see where this money goes over the next few years. You know, their last fund, which they announced in early 2020, had 515 million, I think was the figure. So the fact that they 4x that and are going to be able to spread a bunch of bets across the landscape is quite interesting to me, at least. It's a whole lot of money. Hopefully those LPs are happy at the end of the day.